Oh, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't notice you there. I'm just going over the Gary Kasparov book. I'm just trying to learn all the stuff off by heart. Yeah, right. You're right, mate. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, g'day, mate. Yeah, I'm just trying to learn all these, these moves. But it's really, really hard, especially at this age. So anyway, I'm going to bring you this game today. Yes, senor. I'm going to bring you this game between the great Gary Kasparov, who's black in this case, from 1981 again, the Grass Teams tournament from August 1981. And his opponent is Grandmaster John Spielman, John Simon Spielman, I believe, Jonathan. And he was born on 1956 on the October the 2nd. I don't know what day that was, but I could find out. And I don't know what time he was born, but he was born on that day sometime, which is actually tomorrow if it's in New Zealand. It's the day after. And so I'm not going to ramble anymore. And here we go, because I've done enough of that already, and I've done enough of that in my life. But here we go. This is that game that occurred back then. So Grandmaster John Spielman is from born in London, UK, England, and all that sort of stuff. And here we go. Now look at this. This is actually quite good. Black can sometimes copy white's moves, and white can just get a slight advantage, especially in the English. I've learnt that in the in an informator long time ago, that if black just copies white's move, it can annoy white, of course, and it can be very good against 1g4 to copy black by white by playing g5 1 on move 1 for black g5, etc. And it really annoys Grob players, I think. So knight c3, I'm looking at it from the wrong point of view, and we have e6. Now e6 is not a developing move, it's only aiding to development, the same way as castling is not a developing move, it just aids in development, where the rooks can end up, hopefully one day before the middle game, be saying, "G'day mate, how you going? Not too bad. What have you been doing?" "I've been hanging out on h8," or "I've been hanging out on a8. Now I'm here I can see you straight away." Here we go, I'm rambling again. g3, I'm very good at it. g3, and we have a problem with black's position here, because we're going, well, we don't really want white to just have a supreme diagonal here. So what Gary does is b6 to match it. Bishop g2, and we've got the engine on, haven't we? Of course we have. Bishop g2, and then we have this move, and then we have castles. Bishop e7, b3, castles, d6. d6 is more elastic than this move d5 here. So d6 is more elastic than d5 according to Gary Kasparov. And I think we're going to take his word for it, I believe. So we have e3 here, as I mentioned earlier. This is not a developing move, nor is castling. And we have knight bd7, which is a developing move. And here we have d4, and if Gary plays queen c7, then I believe knight b5 would happen, possibly, but not necessarily, and or d5 or something, and that would be quite similar to a game where Magnus Carlsen in 3-minute and 2-second increments played against Judith Polgar Black, where she played a queen to c7, but in a completely different position. So here we go, a6, and rook c1, and then white is met with b5, and of course if chomping here, okay, then just a b5, knight b5, and rook a2, and that's not too bad for black in my opinion, because we're just attacking the bishop on b2 with the rook. Now we have that variation, but now we're going to go for the main line, which is Gary's move played against him. d5, d5. This is Gary's move. d5, break for white, but he's black. So what does Gary do? He chomps at the bit, and the knight chomps at the bit, and the knight chomps at the knight bit, and see d5, of course, not queen e5, because that'd be a really, really fantastic, brilliant mistake for a grandmaster to play, because we go bishop takes queen. Bishop f6 is probably better than knight f6, even though knight f6 looks quite good. Bishop f6 is what Gary played here. And note that this is primarily his worst bishop than white's better bishop on b2, and that's what was played, and knight f6. Now we'll flip the board and ask you, what move would you play here for white, given that this pawn is now on pre? So what move would you play? John Spielman, Grandmaster John Spielman, played knight h4. And so, of course, Gary was 18 at this point in his life, and I believe that his opponent would be 24, I think. Because Gary's born in 1963, of course. And so here we have knight h4, and so we're flipping the board back to black again. So here Gary plays a5, and e4 happens. Fair enough, because it's now defending the d5 pawn rather nicely with this pawn on e4. So here Gary plays rook e8, which is attacking the e4 pawn again now, and it also is restraining, according to Nimzovich, the move e5, because the rook's just going to take it. So white wants to do something about this pawn, so the sensible move is rook e1. Now we have, I believe, g6. I always miss that one, and I've done this video about 55 times now, and it just doesn't seem to be working for me. But here we go, g6, and then we have, is it queen d2? Yes, and then we have the b4 move. Now if I was white, I'd probably just go f4. I think I would, actually. I think I'd just go f4. It might be good, it might not be. But what did white play now? Oh yes, he plays a3, and Gary grabs this a pawn, okay, straight away, and all of a sudden white starts to go after the a pawn again, because they don't want Gary to maybe even play this or this and this, or this and this, because that might not be very good for white. So white now plays rook a1, and here black plays queen e7, And if rook a3, then we can play knight takes pawn on d5. So black is met with, I believe, e5 here. Well, e5 is an interesting line here. So we're going to look at e5 now for white. e5. Now, what do we play now for white? What do we play for black now? Very difficult, actually. If we play de5, then we might get d6 response from white, and then we have to look after this bishop, which has been attacked, and our queen for d on e7 has been attacked by this mere mortal d6 pawn, and such like. So there can be difficulties in black's camp that I'm not fully aware of, frankly, but this is quite good. So Gary here had prepared this move here, a really, really amazing move. a4, pawn takes knight, and then what? Queen takes pawn, or queen away, or something like that. Queen takes pawn looks all right. Is it? No. He would play queen e1. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Can he do that? He's given his old queen up for just a rook. Obviously, if queen takes queen, then rook takes queen, and rook takes rook, which is check, of course, and then a b3. And these pawns, these two connected passed pawns, are looking very nice indeed. So here, after this is rook e1. Now we have rook e1, and I'm not sure about this move here, bishop f1, which threatens queen h6, does it not? I mean, maybe black can play bishop a6 here. Cancel, I don't want to go that line. But we have queen e1, and then we have a b3. And now if queen e3, then we have a2, and oh, hang on, that's checkmate, isn't it? Next move. No, because we have queen check, and then after bishop f1, only move, then we have queen takes f6, and white is completely lost in even my opinion. But I'm not completely sure about this line here. After bishop f1, there might be something really basic with it, which will annoy me. Could have a look what the computer thinks about it, but I don't want to do that because it can cause difficulties with it. So a4, h3, and now have we got a4 again? I think we've got queen e5 here, yes. And this threatens the earlier mentioned queen b2. So black is in loss of their a3 pawn. Now we might be able to play this almost, but there is a reason why Gary doesn't play that, and it could be pretty obvious. If knight d5, then I believe probably f4, although I'm not even sure about f4. It's probably just no good. I'm not sure about it. But Gary plays queen d4, and this goes into an endgame now, so it's not much longer to go, even though it's quite instructive. So here we've got rook a4, and the pawn marches to d3. Now there's two main lines here, rook d4, attacking the pawn, getting him behind Fred, or rook d1. Okay, so the first one is rook d4, and then we have bishop d5, feisty, And of course the pawn can't take because the rook takes rook check, and the rook can't take because of knight takes rook, and it's a one game for black. So we have a rook d3 now, and then we have a rook b8, which is also ignoring the bishop can just be taken, but that's at cost to white's camp. So rook a1, bishop b3, wanting to play a4 of course, so the pawn is captured by the rook, and knight e4, bishop e4, rook e4, rook d6, bishop e6, king g2, rook e2, rook a3, that's right, rook b2, rook f3, and it's getting to the end of this analysis. They consider this is better for black, I think, although it hardly looks it. That's that analysis. So we have rook d1. So what would you play for black here? I just look like I'm really, really cold, or some of that, I'm not sure. Where's my eye patch? I better put my eye patch on. Hey, Colonel Click. Hey, Colonel Click. Hey, it's Schultz. But anyway, what is the move that black played here? Junior world champion. Junior world champion at the age of 17. Junior world champion. He ended up on 10.5 points out of 20 points. No, he ended up on 10.5 points out of how many rounds did he play? I can't work it out. He did he get 30.5 points or something? I'm not sure. So there's a lot of rounds there. I'm not sure how many rounds there were in the World Championships back then, where Nigel Short came second. So from England, of course. So here is knight d7, and of course now rook d3 is no good because knight c5 picks up a rook for a knight. b4, knight c5, so white's defending not, and black's playing really, really well here to secure the pawn at this stage. So knight f3, rook a2, e5. Obviously this is defending the b7 bishop and that sort of thing. So here's rook c2, knight b3, bishop d5. Now, what move do you think you play for white here? And given that, look at these four pieces in the center, very nice for black. So it's looking almost a la Alexander Alekhine, also world champion as well from way back in the 1930s and that sort of thing. 1927 or whatever, 1930. So here white plays knight d3, but it's all very, very tentative. Okay, so we're flipping the board, and so Gary just takes this, and bishop takes, and now he plays king f8. But we will look at d2. What happens if d2 is bishop f7, king f8, and then rook d4, and then we have this, but this is a pawn less than the actual main variation. So here we play king f8, he did, and Gary is met with bishop c4. Bishop f7 is no good as rook e4 and pawn marches, and so all of a sudden white has to give up a piece to stop the pawn from advancing, which is bishop back from f7 to b3. So here we've got, I'll just show you that line there. And here, as you'd appreciate, the rook can try to get back to there and there, but not very good because you can't go to c1 after d2. And if it goes here, then just d2 and rook b1 and rook e1 check, and we're going to go pawn takes, plus we're going to take this bishop on f7, etc. So the only thing that white can do here is really bishop b3, preventing the pawn from marching completely, and then knight takes b3 is a whole piece up. So that's that analysis. So here white plays bishop c4, and then comes d2, rook d4, and now I'm going to race through the last part of these moves, but it's very nice to have a look at this endgame the way that Gary plays it. I'm impressed he doesn't play f6 or something. And that's where John Spielman, Grandmaster John Spielman, resigned. I hope you enjoyed this session on chess for you today. I hope that your chess improves no matter what your level, and I hope you enjoy chess as a whole and this chess session that I brought to you. And what a great player Garry Kasparov is.